Hello and welcome back to Talking Sports with Chris. I'm Chris, and today I will be making another part of my NFL mock draft. One of the last parts of the little you know what I mean. Uh let's kick things off with pick number 17 from the Jacksonville Jaguars. In my opinion, I think they go best player available, and I think they can go for an offensive tackle as well. Looking at best player available and offensive tackle, I can see um, the Jacksonville Jaguars drafting. I'm gonna butcher this name a lot, but Alumayiwa Fashanu, offensive tackle. I think it would fit for the Jaguars for some depth at tackle. I mean, they have a decent O line. I think it could get a little bit better though. So I mean, they got Cam Robinson, they got Ezra Cleveland, Mitch Moore, Brandon Scherf, Anton Harrison as their starting O line. But I think that they could definitely use at least maybe one more for the depth, maybe to go behind Anton Harrison for a year to just develop. But I think that would just help the Jaguars a lot because I mean that's one of the last things they need offensively. I mean, offensively the Jaguars are stacked. I mean they got Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, Devin Duvernay, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, and I was telling you before how the offensive line's pretty decent. And like yeah, people might say, "Oh, what about the defense?" I think their defense is a strong suit as well. I mean, they got Eric Armstead, Josh Allen, Devin Lloyd, Trayvon Walker, Ronald Darby. I mean, it's not a bad group of guys on that defense, but I think maybe later rounds they could draft a defensive player, whether it's a cornerback or a linebacker or a safety. But I think the best fit for the Jacksonville Jaguars this draft is offensive tackle Alumoyiwa Fashanu. Now, next, for the Cincinnati Bengals, I think this is an easy pick. Another just best player available, whether just offensive lineman at this point. I mean, you want to like really protect Joe Burrow, especially after the injury last season. You gotta protect even more. So protect him even more. So I have the Cincinnati Bengals drafting Talisi Fuaga, offensive tackle. And I think it would like fit well with the Bengals. I mean, they definitely need that depth in offensive tackle, especially if guys like Orlando Brown Jr. and Trent Brown get hurt. So bringing a guy like Fuaga would definitely help out, especially because this offensive line has been terrible for years. Um, yeah, mate. Like I know, like people think that a guard would needs like has a bigger hole than tackle, but there's not really any guards this early. Like I think maybe later on in the draft they can draft like a Cooper Beebe, but right now I think to pair with like Orlando Brown Jr., Trent Brown, um, Talisi Fuaga. I definitely butcher that name as well. These names are hard, but and it would help too because I mean, the Bengals. I mean, they brought in a good tight end like Mike Gesicki. They still got Chase and T Higgins play. He's great, and Zach Moss still there. I think I think yeah they built offensive line in the first round, and I think later on in the rounds Bengals will draft guys like a receiver or a running back. I don't think now like at this part of the first round I don't think is a good for receivers, especially because so many have been drafted already. So I don't think like I think they could wait on to the second, third round to draft a receiver, like a third or fourth round draft a running back. Um, for the Bengals, but I definitely like the main need for the Bengals. It's been like this for years. Is offensive line depth because it was 3 years ago in the playoffs they gave up like 19 sacks. Yeah, they still won, but that's a lot. I mean, and Joe Burrow's now banged up a lot because he's had so many injuries. He has so many injuries now that like he's definitely he's definitely injury prone now. I mean, I think he tore his ACL twice now. Messed up his calf early last season. He has a wrist injury right now. So I can definitely see an offensive line. It has to be in the books for the Bengals. I mean, it's one of the biggest needs right now for Cincinnati. Like, cause you gotta protect your quarterback. That's like the main thing. So that's why I think bringing in an offensive line like Tulisi Fuaga would work. And yeah, they can go get their guards later in the rounds, or running backs or receivers later in the rounds. I think right now though is better to get that tackle because it's just like the best player available really, and it's like the best offensive lineman available. So that's why I think it's a good fit for the Bengals. Next for the 19th overall pick, I have Amarius Mims, offensive tackle, going to the Rams. A lot of offensive tackles here, but I think that's where we're kind of coming down because these teams aren't bad. They just like it's their quarterbacks that got hurt. That's why it's Jaguars. I mean, they just need to protect Trevor Lawrence a little more. But I mean, Matthew Stafford right here, I think he got hurt. Joe Burrow got hurt last year. So you're gonna want to protect your guys. I mean, the Rams aren't a bad team either. I mean, Matthew Stafford, Kyron Williams is great, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nakua, Higbee. So that's why I think Amarius Mims is a good fit because you're going to want to also beef up the offensive alignment now because once Matthew Stafford retires, unless they have like Jimmy Garoppolo still or Stetson Bennett if he ever plays, then you're gonna have to need a good offensive line just to protect those guys. So, oh, sorry. No, so that's why I think Amarius Mims is a good fit. And if Stetson Bennett's at quarterback, I mean, he's already played with Amarius Mims before in Georgia. So it could be a good fit. And even Matthew Stafford's played for Georgia as well. So I think chemistry there would work, and it would give more time. Like Amarius Mims, I'm a Georgia fan, which is weird because it's different than all my other teams. But I'm a Georgia fan. Watching, he can play. He can really play. Amarius Mims would be a good fit with the Los Angeles Rams. So that's why I think that it would be a great draft pick for the Rams just to protect that quarterback. But yeah, that's what I got there. And last for pick number 20, I looked long and I looked hard for this one because the Steelers, they they like they have some great pieces, but they also have huge holes. And I think their biggest hole though is their defensive line. I mean, yeah, they got Cam Hayward, they got T.J. Watt. That's it. That's all they really got. I mean, starting at nose tackle was Keanu Benton. Never heard of him in my life. I mean, I like their linebackers. I mean, T.J. Watt's considered a linebacker technically in their scheme, and then Alex Highsmith and Cole Holcomb, and Patrick Queen. I love Patrick Queen. That was such a big get for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But another big get that could help them is drafting Byron Murphy II from Texas. I think that's got to be. I think that's the best pick if we're looking at Pittsburgh. I mean, it helps beef up that defensive line, and I think Byron Murphy II would be a certified starter at nose tackle. Last year he had 13 solo sacks with 29 total or no 13 solo tackles with 29 total, 5 sacks. Um, he's not really a big sack guy, but like like last year he had breakout seasons with career high in sacks, but he's still a great pass rusher. And he's great. He's a big dude too, going in that defensive line. And if you can pair him with someone like a Cam Hayward who can teach him the ways to play great football, I think Byron Murphy is a great pick for Steelers. I mean, he was great in Texas. I mean, Texas has always been a good team. So that's why I think, I mean, the biggest holes really for the Steelers was that defense. So I think bringing in a guy like Byron Murphy to that defense could really help a lot. Because I mean, they were pretty close to the playoffs last year. I mean, Mike Tomlin's a great coach. So just there's a few pieces left for this Steelers team. That's why I think Byron Murphy the second should will be drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, that's all I got for today. Another quick episode. Um, Thank you guys for listening. Be sure to stay tuned. We are just just a week away, or a week and a few days away from the NFL draft. It's a very exciting time of the year. Um, yeah, hopefully I'll be done with my mock draft before the draft. I might have to put like more picks in one episode, but thank you guys for listening or watching wherever you're you know accumulating this. That was such a bad word to put. That was such a bad situation for that word, accumulating. But still, thank you for watching and listening. Hope let's hope your team does well in the NFL draft. I sure as hope my team does, the Giants. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.